Hi, my friends. I wanted to do a big recap last night. It's called Stardate, Captain Kirk. Stardate 2022, January. Let's see, is it 7th? Hey, Stardate Captain. What I was going to say was it was an amazing night last night. Just amazing. God, the Lord, the angels, and everything they must have planned this whole thing out because it was just one thing after another. Like it was just like living a movie that is going, like I said, is going to the right places, meeting the right people, and just an overall amazing night. It'd take me, I could write a book. Sometimes like I've said it before that I could literally write books on one evening with the Father, Lord, and the angels, and all this. Just one night because it's so amazing. See, some of my videos, you don't even see all the things. I don't have time to actually do videos of other things and experience the people I'm meeting. And I'm seeing because there's so much more that happens every night, right? Or sometimes even during the day that I don't have time to describe the people I'm meeting and the things and the situations. And some are very important, but I just don't have the time. So I'll stay on focus because I know you don't have time to listen to all my talk. But what was amazing about last night was I'm going to give some of the key areas just so that you some thoughts that I had. And I'm trying to do this also as a personal log for myself, like I said, a captain's log on this adventure. And it's been an amazing adventure. Oh my goodness! I mean, I just driving down the road there. Sorry to keep going off topic, but I'm just blown away. This has been so. Thank you, Father, Lord. And in many says blasphemy, thank you, Satan, because seriously, he drove me to Father and Lord. Thank them all for this experience. I mean, you kidding me? I mean, this has just been just all awesome, and just really have love and joy in my heart. I'm just so happy with them, my life, and we've all struggled. Oh, it's been painful as heck too, but boy, when you look at it overall, it's just been a glorious life. I mean, seriously, and it just keeps on every day. Just is so wonderful. Even when I have bad times, being attacked and punched or whatever, and being emotionally destroyed by somebody or something like that. But it's just been a great, just a glorious adventure. So I can never thank them enough. Forever, I can thank them, right? So anyway, so back to focus. So last night, so one of the things was interesting. I met one of the guys. He was a veteran with the Air Force and retired, but this gentleman, he was one of the original ones that had developed the internet, and which is really cool because I actually was messing around with the internet way back before there was GUI browsers, interfaces, stuff like that. When it used to be text-based as well. But he was actually, we talked about how it's text-based. We had this great nostalgia moment where we were talking about the history. And I'm way younger than this guy, but see, I got in just right in time to see the internet grow and get to play around with it with the universities and stuff, and see how just the things that it became of, right? So what was really interesting about this, so he was actually one of the guys. They said the first test they did was actually in California, and they set up in a hotel. They actually had this hotel because they were trying to test um, internet access. And this is old baud, they call them baud modems, so all this other stuff running across the network line. Well, anyway, so he set this. He said that they set it up and they actually had this basic communication, from these locations. So he said it was one of the first like demos of trying to test and pilot the uh, the internet. And he said, so it was really cool talking to this guy. And we talked about, he was a software engineer and stuff like this, and the different languages that came along, and COBOL and some of the other that I worked with as well. So it was really great to sit down and talk to a guy that was involved in this, and I'm going to keep going about it. It's just so cool, right? I'm heading some of this because this is amazing. Um, so they didn't realize how far it's going to go the internet. So he even said some of his supervisors and other people, they're poo-pooing the whole thing from the beginning. They said, "Oh, this ain't really anything," especially the hotel because they're like outside thing. They said, "Why would anybody ever want something like this? This is useless, stupid." They said, "Why not just use a phone or this and that?" And they said, "You don't understand. This is going to change the world," which it has. I mean, this video right here is coming through the internet, right? From that process. Well, anyway, so nobody had any idea how big it was. And now, what's also interesting about this is that people don't realize, because I was messing around with the internet. No, I wasn't into pornographic sites, but I bring this up because it's interesting that a lot of the sites when they first The first thing you usually had was the universities that were online. You could text back and forth, read basic information, documents from different universities. They're all text-based. I mean, there wasn't much, you know, stuff out there, right? It was really basic. And then, but what really came along was the pornographic stuff, because then they came along with Netscape. And I actually had run the first Netscape. It was the first browser, web browser, and that thing was a mess. It was hard to use. Sometimes it break, it hang on you, so you'd be in there. It'd take you like 5 or 10 minutes just to get connected. And once you had all these apps running and all this crud, you had all these pieces together. You had to have what's called point-to-point protocol. You had all this stuff going on, and then the thing would crash after a minute. You're like, oh, I got to start all over. You just spend like just 10 or 15 minutes just trying to get in there, and then you're in there and it break. So, but anyway, Netscape. But Netscape came along and gave GUI interface, and guess what? That was the first thing. I'm seriously, porn. So this is what's crazy about it, is that porn was actually what led the internet to expand and make it grow, because there was money involved, there's interest, people were. And so that's actually the pornographic aspects of it, which drove the internet to become as big as it was. Isn't that crazy? Now, I'm having some of this. So, and they had these rooms, and there's chat rooms. So you go in these chat rooms, and people are just filthy on them. Like, hey, I'm gonna do this over the table, and just nasty stuff, right? And I'm like, my gosh, right? So even people do like this cyber, we call it cyber sexuality with language stuff, and I was like blown away, right? I was like, God. So anyway, so it is that a couple things about that is that it's crazy how the basics of nastiness is what drives, like I said, money, sex, drugs, rock and roll, all these other things. What drives this country for people in the power, those nasty things, that drives the things to advancement for technology and other things. And also what's interesting is how a negative becomes a positive, because now think about all the lovely things we actually have on there. So I watch these YouTube channels with like children doing great things, like festivals, singing, dancing, and doing great things, ballet. And I also get to see I like these animal things, these kitty cats and these dogs getting along. And there's a cute one too, I don't know if you've seen it, where it has this little chick that comes up and puts its little head under this little kitty cat, and the kitty cat's got its arm on it. Oh my gosh, it's got like 10 million views, and it's really loving and just so cute, right? So there's the beauty of it too. So then also the internet. So God's used this as well. So he's turned a negative into a positive there again. He's taken this pornographic, disgusting, filthy thing that was originally started with the internet and swung it to making a positive, right? And so that, it's just amazing. And that's why we can't blast technology, because it's gotten out of balance. We know this. It's way out of balance. But there again, because we can't be like Amish where we don't have technology, because it's actually been an advantage to help society as well. It's just out of balance right now. Now I was talking. Okay, so back to this guy though. So this is the internet thing. So I was talking to him, and he said it's gone too far. A lot of people in the tech field, we always want to push more, because that was our drive. We were programmed to want to advance technology, trying, like the Elon Musk said, we want to push to the edge of the envelopes of technology. And even him, he sat down and said, it's gone too far. And I said it before he did. And he agreed. He said, way too far. The cell phones have become, the people, their cell phones, they're addicted to it. I even showed him an example. I was sitting in the bar. I said, I guarantee you, there's somebody right now, look, they're not even talking to their friends, but they're sitting there plugged into the cell phone, plugged in their mind, everything. It's all, this thing's controlled in reality. And I turned next to me, and there's this lady, she's just jumping there and ignoring her friends, just, this and that, looking at that. And I'm seriously, I've gone to some of my family events years ago, Thanksgiving, something like that, and I have family members just sitting around playing on their phone all day versus interacting with the family at a Thanksgiving or a Christmas deal, right? This thing's addicted. I mean, I used to name mine. I had a name for it. I called mine. I can't remember. Because like a child, I had to make sure it's plugged in. Always had to be with me. And my God, if I lost it, I was out of my mind. See, this is an addiction, the cell phone. And what's really interesting about the cell phone too is, I didn't mention this in the previous videos, that the cell phone is like a black mirror, like a mirror on the wall. And I mentioned a little bit about this, but it's actually a black mirror, and the evil forces can use this, and they've used it against me. I've had my phone possessed. I've told you I've had it possessed. many times. So you need to pray for your phone and make sure it stays clean. That sounds weird. Oh, Kirk, you're praying for a material. Yes, I'm not kidding you. And we're not talking about possessed by software or, and, they can by things like that as well. But I'm talking literally possessed by the spiritual world, taking your phone over or messing with it. I'm not kidding you. It is real. Beyond just man's software gimmicks and this and that. They can actually do this. I'll give you a couple examples. One, I actually had a naked thing. I had a screen protector, and this naked lady had formed in between the water barrier and the screen protector because it actually got a little moisture on it. And funny, it's crazy because even my son, Kyler, we laughed about it years ago. I said, "My God, look at this thing!" And I didn't realize I was actually exposing to this because he'd actually seen it on my phone. I said, "Oh no, you shouldn't be showing this to him." And he saw this lady, and they were laughing at my kids in the house because they'd pick up my phone and look at it. So and then I said, I was in, I think it was El Paso, Texas. I walked into a bar, and there was a lost spirit, an evil soul that was in one of the bathrooms. Long story about that one, and I picked him up, and he was messing with my cell phone really bad. I mean, seriously, and I couldn't get rid of the guy. And I finally did. It's a long story, but I came walking out of this bathroom because I picked him up and he had a hat, and I still remember the guy's face, the spiritual guy. And there's two guys, they're kind of Catholic or something, they're brothers. And I said, "Man, look at my phone." I said, "It's being attacked by some darn, some evil lost spirit soul that I found in the bathroom." And I said, "Can you guys help me? Can you help me pray or do something about the fix this?" You know what one of them said? Bud, no, I said, "We're good." I said, "What do you mean you're good?" I said, "I'm not good. My phone's getting attacked. You guys want to help me?" And he goes, "We're good." And he's like, "Scoot along, get out of here." See, they get scared. People do. I'm like, "Yeah," but I said, "You guys can't help me." He says, "No, just, he says, "No, we're good." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're good. I'm not. So thank you for being a brother under, you're Catholic. You kidding me? That's the stuff we deal with every day, right?" Nobody wants to stand up with, help each other even in their religion. So I walk out the door. It's a long story. Driving down the road, I didn't call my mother in Colorado. I said, "Man, I've picked up this nasty thing in a tavern." You pick up bad things anyway. And so I finally kicked this guy out of my vehicle after took me about 5 or 10 minutes. And he was messing with my phone. I couldn't even talk to my mother, just making a mess out of it. So anyway, so it's true, and I kicked him out of my vehicle. I finally, did some praying and the other things to just get out here, and so he finally left. But man, I picked up him, and oh my goodness, today he's driving, riding with me, and messing with my phone. So anyway, so back to this. So anyway, so this technology. So this is like I told the guy, it's like this has become a problem. This phone is actually supposed to keep us together, be us more in communication. It's actually separated us. It's made us completely separated from one another. The phone. I mean, you see children walking next to each other, texting each other when they don't turn and look at each other and speak in a voice that God gave us. It's sad, right? It's become so, and they keep pushing this technology. They want more and more and more to the, even Elon Musk talks about he wants to put a chip in your brain. He's going to have it by next year. Are you kidding me? Next year, right? So that's scary thoughts. Now, so my experience. So here's the thing is, so I'm going back to last night. I could go all day long about all the stuff that's happening around the world. You can spend a lifetime just explaining everything that's occurring and then pushing and all this other stuff. But so I talked to this guy, and what really blew my mind is he has studied software programming and all this other stuff. Very intelligent. Like I said, helped invent the internet. And I talked a little bit about God. I said, so what do you think about about a God you created? You know what? He is 100% atheist. I said, what? It blew my mind. He said, "Oh, there is no such thing as a God, a controller, this and that. None." I said, "There's zero." I said, "What?" I said, no. I said, I'm not going to try to push on you, but look how everything's so perfect. It's like we're living in a perfect software program even. Everything, and, it's like everything just unfolding exactly. You got the moon right position, all these things. And I said, how? I said, "You don't believe there's something?" He says, "No, we're just here." I said, "I know, but how do we just get here?" I said, "You can't just be here." And he said, "Well, we're just here." And I said, "Really?" And I said, "My God." So I said, "So what's the most important thing?" So as us being humans, and then why are we here? What would be our purpose? And he said, and I like what his answer was. He said it would be nature. said, we're destroying our planet. And he said, we're just destroying it. He said, we're just making a mess. He said, we got global warming and we're just making a mess of it. He said, that's our goal, is to focus on the planet. Well, that is true. But see, you got to understand, though, even the Illuminati and the power ones, they use distractions. They create environmental activists and other things to keep you focused on that versus their spiritual being. Not kidding you. They love this stuff. And because they know that's gets your heart and your soul. Hey, we're taking care of nature now. So here it's kind of it's a good distraction, but it's a distraction again. See, well anyway, so I'm trying to stay on a point on this that he's right about nature, but we also have to take care of one another, and we have all these things, right? We got to help each other, and we got to make sure we have a stable society and all these things to take care of nature. Because if we're all just focusing on nature and not watching the burning in the backyard of evil and hate, then we can't solve the issues, and we have chaos. So, and that's how you create chaos. You create all these distractions, diversions, right? So, I mean, I agree with him. I said, yeah, I'll support you on that. We do need to do a better job. We're not taking care of the animals that God told us to. We're destroying this planet that God gave us to live on and all these things. It's true. But we have to unite and work on that spirituality as well. That has to be the first basis of love one another and focus on those things. Because if we don't do that, if we can't take care of each other, how are we going to take care of the animals on the planet? Because, you know what I mean? It's kind of like catch-22. We have to focus on all these things. So anyway, so moving on from that. Okay, so that was a great discussion that I just blown away that he doesn't see anything spiritual. I mean, you kidding me? How could you literally, and I don't know if this is like this NPC thing or just programmed or what, how can an individual like him not see that a spiritual aspect, that 90% of this world is spiritual? I mean, it just blows my mind, because, I mean, I just don't go on about it. I just can't fathom that, right? But anyway, it is what it is. He can't see it. So hopefully he will see that truth someday or whatever, right? I do have contact information, so I can contact him and talk to him a bit more. But sometimes I told you, you don't waste your time. You can't. You plant a seed, but you can't waste your time trying to convince these people or turn them. You can't. You give it to God, okay? Okay, so then after that, I met this lady, and guess what? She is one of the 144,000 revelations. I did some scripture tests. Not that I'm trying to test people. I did some tests. I did some Mandela Effect tests. She Mandela Effect awake. Yes. She knows some original scripture, things like this. And man, she is awesome. So can you believe we have a sister here that I met, God aligned, because she even said I hadn't, and I actually met her in a lounge, and I just went in briefly to check out this lounge, and she hadn't been there in 35 years, she said. I said, what? 35 years. She said she felt like a calling. So remember, some things aren't by coincidence. God actually lines these things and puts us together, because I didn't even know why I was driving that far away to go to this place. I just had that Holy Spirit calling into me to go there, and I see her sitting there and we start talking. She's got a horrible stories just like all of us. Oh my gosh. I mean, she's been targeted, nightmare, oh my gosh. Her life has just been a mess, just like the rest of us. I don't want to go on about it. Just horrifying. Just horrifying, family members walking away, lying. Oh, and, like even her, I hadn't seen her daughter in 11 years, and I haven't seen my children in 3, right? My 4 kids in Colorado, and stuff like this. Just the stories just go on and on. So, but anyway, very similar story to mine. Probably like you, brothers and sisters, is just a nightmare. But that's okay. And we just do our mission, and we know that all is good in the end, right? God turns that glory to good. That it's always glorious. So it's amazing. Yes, I finally met another 144 in flesh here in San Diego. She's awesome. So we're gonna keep in touch. I told her there's other ones out there, and I said I have my YouTube, and all my YouTube information, stuff like that. Okay. Now remember, God separated us on purpose. We got we got a brother in Boise, Idaho. We got one in Tennessee. We got some in Australia. We got one in Britain. God separated us on purpose so that we could learn how to become more godly and Lord-like, and to all these experiences, and to educate us, and also to there's a lot of reasons, right? So it's not like we could just sit down at a festival someday, all of us gather together, like 10 or 15 years ago and sit down and start talking. That's why we had to be separated, scattered, the 144, because it wouldn't have worked out. Like even me, I had to be kind of lonely and isolated so that I could become the best I could. And I wasn't completely lonely because the Lord was there, and God was also there, and the angels. But we had to be separated so that we could, best train and become the best we could be, right? And so that's what it is. So that's what that loneliness is. It's bad, but it was part of the whole plan. Okay. So, but now it's time to reunite. Okay. Now that's what the thing is. Time to start working together, because time's running out for these people. It's time. Obviously God's allowing us to start communicating and working. Not allowing, but He's providing those means for us to communicate and start working together, because it's time to play defense for the good and the glory of God. Okay. So, because before I was like fighting tooth and nails trying to find anybody. I couldn't get anybody to contact, or was fully awake and aware of what was going on, and fully with what was happening. So we're getting there now, right? So we got to do our things as the 144. Okay. Now I don't know about all the numbers, if it's less or more or whatever that number is. Even if it's the 12 of us that are fully awake, so be it. God doesn't need God, even in Scripture one time He said, I don't need a ton, I just need a couple, a handful, right, to make a difference. But God's got that control, so we let Him guide us and do that, right? And that's what's important, is that we've got to, because I keep wanting to fight every day, and I'm trying to hold my passion back about I heard even now that some of the like Taco Bell's requiring their employees to be vaccinated, or they get fired. And these minimum wage workers, and I don't want to hold the sign and start boycotting the crap out of that in 10 seconds. But if God tells you to, and that's your role, then you do that. But if not, then see, I can't do that right now, because I don't want to interfere with God's plans, and it's not my calling to sit there and hold a sign all day in front of a Taco Bell, right? So it depends on your calling and what God's guidance, because we're all doing different roles. And so we just make sure we do our role, right? We're all part of that team. Doesn't matter if we're the guy who's cleaning the bathroom at the church and doing work there, or the one that's and you might be in the learning phase. I was in the learning phase, trying to learn more about what I could, what's going on around the world. There's times I wasn't doing anything I thought for God or Lord, but I was just learning, right? So it just depends on where your role's at, right? So anyway, that's just going to tell you. Then the last thing, so sorry to make this so long, but it's really important I get this out. What's really interesting is about this new Earth we're on. This is part of the Mandela Effect, from I always get it backwards, Sagittarius, Orion, Jesus, doesn't matter, I think we came from was it the Sagittarius Earth, got moved to Orion or whatever. What's really interesting about this Earth is I'm just finally putting the pieces together on this, and I'm starting to understand more about these people, and I'm not trying to insult them. These people are so different than my old Earth, old reality, in so many ways. And I could go on videos just on and on about how different they are. What I've found, which is really interesting, this Earth has a high incarceration rate compared to my old Earth. A lot of people have been to jail, prison, and just massive numbers. And that wasn't true on my old Earth. There's very few people actually went to prison or jail. Almost everybody you talk to, even brothers and sisters, even Mandela affected, a lot of them hadn't been to prison and jail. This place is all about control. I told you the old Earth was called the Freedom Earth, that we don't know what happened to that one. Somehow it merged, a code line, or exploded, we don't know. But that was called Freedom Earth, and this one's called Control. It's very more controlling. And you can see it with the securities everywhere. The cameras are tighter. Security guards carrying guns, which they didn't carry guns in my old Earth ever. Very rare. This is a federal facility. These security guards here have guns on them immediately. This world is completely different than people. And I'm trying to explain to that why I think that is so, in a minute, of why God has this happening, what's going on. So the people, and also, I'll be honest, a lot of them, and no offense to them, a lot of people have psychiatric issues. A lot of them. I found out 80% of people I meet or talk to, I'm not trying to judge them, don't say I'm judging them, they have depression issues, bipolar issues, some kind of mental disorder, almost all of them. And it's shocking, because I was talking to a guy last night about this. I said, my friends are insane, everybody's insane. It's kind of like the Alice in Wonderland, you know, we're all mad down here. This world it's all mad. I mean, we went into a rabbit hole in this earth, this new reality, because these people are insane. And I'm telling them, I keep in their mind. I'm just saying they are insane. They are mental issues out the galore. And you know, I'll have somebody that they're stable. I'll be talking to them, you know, as a friend or something, and you know, even friends, and say, "Wow, this person's really stable," and then they'll say that one little thing, and all of a sudden I realize they have mental issues. You know what I mean? And I was talking to a guy about this. He's very sane, and he said the same thing. He said he has family members, friends. He said he thinks they're normal, and all of a sudden he said he'll find out after knowing them for a month. He said they have some kind of weird mental issue, right? So we have high carcinage rate, we have mental issues, and what else? Their behavior is just so different. Like I said, they don't want to stand up for themselves. You're not allowed to speak your opinion. They get offended very easily. The men are very sensitive to anything that goes against their thoughts or beliefs. And you know, and then no offense to ladies, the ladies tend to be very controlling, domineering, and very using their femalism to control men. And men are just as nasty. So I don't think I'm getting a gender thing, and I could go on about that. I mean, it's just a mess. They've been separated. We just that natural love between the different sexes is not there. It's sad. We've lost the roles, and I can go on about that for. You got the MGTOW, and we go on about that feminism, all that crap. So I don't want to go down that route, right? So also, so you have that issue where the people just are, and like I said, they have no backbone. I talked to the Lord about that once. I mean, I talked to him only a few times, and I said, you know, these people are just so weak. I said, they don't stand up, and he agreed with me. And that was when I was in Phoenix. He said, yeah, and he said that, you know, they just don't, Kirk. And he didn't say one way or, you know, just kind of just said, yeah. He just said, yeah, Kirk, that's true. And I said, sad. I said, these people won't fight for nothing. And he said, it's true. And I said, you know, it's sad. I said, it's horrible. Because even our old reality, if you would have pulled this crap, you would have pulled that on those people in the old earth, oh my God, there would have been a nightmare in about 10 minutes, because those people were about freedom, and they wouldn't have withstood it. You know, back even in the 70s, 80s, no matter what timeline it is, or 60s, boy, you pulled this crap with these people in masks and all this other stuff, there would have been a riot in about 10 minutes. They wouldn't have tolerated it. They would have stood up. So they've all been they've been over-programmed and all this stuff, which is okay. That's why we're here. What else is going to say about that? Because I thought it's kind of important, some issues about this world. But also, though, so you got to keep in mind, though, that so this place is like it's a fallen of the fallen, and it's really bad, and that's probably why God sent us here. So we went down to like this reality, to one of the worst ones there is, to try to bring this place out, and that's a positive. God knows we're tough enough, and so is the Lord. That's probably why they sent us here, because we are in a really rough thing, and you know, and that means that we had to shine better, and that's the positive of it. That means that we're gonna have more love and light, and that we have humble pride that God allowed us, because we shine. You know, people told me a ton. They said, "You are just amazing." No, I'm not trying to boast. They said, "My God," they said, "You're like a dang angel, Kirk." And this is how my behavior. I mean, I've gotten better, but my behavior is basically how I was in the old earth. And you know, so I'm saying, just this is my old behavior before I became more patient, kind, humble, and all these other things. I mean, I was already shining compared to this earth. I mean, I didn't realize it. That earth, I was just the average guy. And you know, and I can't believe I'm not kidding you. I was just trying to be a good guy and do the right things and be nice to people, and so in this one, you know, just that average guy is all of a sudden like he shines like a star, or a lady too. You shine like a beautiful star, an angel here. So, and that's when you're getting targeted worse. I mean, seriously. But okay. So hopefully I won't make this too much longer. It's already 29 minutes, 30 minutes. You're probably like, oh my God, Kurt just went on and on. So I will do more about that. There's a lot more I can talk about. But anyway, so that was an important thing, as And I hope this is interesting, but I hope I'll do more about last night, because there's also other things too. But I just got to cut this short. I got to get moving. All right, and and you have things to do as well. All right, hang in there. And also, I keep reminding people, with you with God and the Lord, have no fear. Enjoy your life. Enjoy the day. Don't worry about what's happening around the world. When God needs us to do something, we'll be there. So just enjoy it. They got this under control, and we're going to do our part. Because that's why we're here in flesh. But just have that joy in your heart every day. Be happy, and don't get bogged down about, well, they're doing this, they're going to do that, and they got a war over here, and they're going to put more the jabba jabberoo on these people. Don't even go there. Just enjoy your day and just be happy, enjoy, and keep on smiling. And when you go in these Walmarts, be fun with the people, because it's hard for me, because I'm like, these people are like walking zombies, but I still, treat them the same, whether NPCs, HPBBs. Just have, fun, and try to bring them fun. We treat them the same, and just be happy every day. Show the joy, be the light, and just keep on being positive. Because I mean, be the angel in flesh here, because that's why we're here. All right. All right. Love you all. Take care, and God bless.